Hello and welcome back to Rep Sports. I am Rahul Giri and joined by Bharat Ramraj, an Indian women's hockey team. They fell short 2-0 against Netherlands, the world champion, as expected before the game. We thought that India might surprise us. They might punch above their weight, but unfortunately they are playing against the world champions, the Olympic champions, also at their own backyard, backed by almost 7,000 fans. It's never that easy to fight against a team like Netherlands, but still the performance our Indian women's team actually showed today against Netherlands, I think every hockey fans across the nation should be proud of, to be honest. I'm joined by Bharat. We'll discuss in details about the game and also we'll look forward another India versus Netherlands game tomorrow, of course, in the men's World Cup. But Bharat, do you think India could have done anything better than the performance they put on against Netherlands today?
See, we have to be realistic. India could have done something better. Their position
Okay.
was not there. Netherlands obviously had more position, and secondly, Indian middle midfield couldn't get it right. But still, they were playing five-time Olympic champions, nine-time world champions. So in that sense, you can't expect much. See, Netherlands have a very good defensive structure. They play very high-paced, fast-paced hockey. They hardly give you a spaces, and as I already noted, EB Jansen is someone who is known as a machine in women's hockey. She already has 88 goals in 90 matches, 91 matches,
Yeah.
and she's that kind of a drag flicker who has scored 7 goals, I guess, in this tournament itself. So India kept her down to one. That tells something about India's gritty defense. But yes, India's position was not there. They lacked the position, and that is somewhere a credit to Netherlands for their great defensive structure, or what can I say, the way they are able to go for those counter attacks.
Those who are watching our shows, let us know what's your thoughts on Indian women's team performance today against Netherlands. Also, do you think India can really make it to the semi-final? Because now the equation is simple and straightforward. India need to beat Australia in their second game of Pool E, that is the championship round, that is day after tomorrow, to make a way into the semi-final. And if India can pull that off, then that will be a historic achievement. But again, coming back to tonight's game against Netherlands. To be honest, India actually punched above their weight, if I'm not wrong. Also against England, also against Netherlands. If you see Indian women's team performance, I think if you are close follower of Indian women's team hockey, then you would say then clearly we have seen the progress of the team under Sword Marin, since he joined back the team in February. Because few months ago, India lost against England in the Hyderabad World Cup qualifiers and against Netherlands are way above Indian women's hockey team. But since that, now at this World Cup, just within a few months, the way team have progressed, it shows clearly at this World Cup against England. India actually completely shut down England. England kept on asking a question, kept on pressurizing, they kept on creating chances, but Indian defense stood firm. And today against Netherlands also, if you see, Netherlands created so many chances, but still India didn't even concede a single open play goal. They conceded two penalty corners, and also Netherlands made the difference. Initial in the initial minutes of the game, they got the first penalty corner of the game, and they made no mistake. And that's actually Netherlands when it comes to penalty corner, Netherlands is one of the most dangerous side in the world hockey, and that's how actually the game unfolded. In the first, it was just 2 minutes, and India were behind, and but still, India didn't give up. They actually, stood firm throughout the all the four quarters. Actually, I'm very proud, to be honest. I'm very proud of their performance throughout the whole game. But Bharat, the equation now is very simple. Do you think India have a chance against Australia? Can they make it to the semi-final?
Yeah, we have already talked about that particular match that India did well during the tour of Australia as well. So obviously, it was not a World Cup still. That was a decent performance from the Indian team. Yes, the Australian team are still dangerous enough. It's not like they're a bad side. But if you look at world hockey, women's hockey at present, it would be like Netherlands. Then you would maybe think of China, current form, and Australia somewhere group next a little bit. I guess Argentina will always be there in top three. And then obviously Belgium has come through the ranks now in women's hockey as well, not just in men's hockey. So somewhere Australia slipped a little bit. I don't think they're the side that they used to be. But having said that, I think Australia will still start as a slight favorites. I'm just giving them a very small edge. That's all. So if India bring out their A game, and perhaps if Australia don't play at their absolute best, then I think India have a chance. But I guess Australia will start with maybe it could be something like 55-45 in Australia's favor, if you want to look at percentage. So I guess Australia have a slight edge, but still having said that, I think India have a pretty decent chance of maybe scripting a heist in this game.
True, Bharat, and the reason why I'm seeing chances against Australia because Australia also, going through a transition period. Once Australia were also a dominant force in world hockey, but recently, especially this year, they are also going through a transition. After there's a major overhaul in their coaching department as well. So under the new coach, Australia is also trying to shape up. So this is the best possible opportunity for Indian women's team. Uh, if they can sustain the momentum that they got actually against China, the way they played against South Africa, the way they play against England, and also in few instances, the way they have also created chances, few chances against Netherlands as well. I think India need to make the most of the moments they get against Australia. And when it's India versus Australia in women's hockey, it make all of us remember about that historic game at the Tokyo Olympic, where India defeated Australia in the quarterfinal to secure their place in the semi-final of the Olympic, and that was obviously a historic result in Indian women's team history. We'll talk in length about our Indian women's team performance today against Netherlands. But Bharat, what's your expectation? What's your thoughts on tomorrow's game? That is in the men's hockey. India will be facing Netherlands once again at the home turf of Netherlands.
Yeah, I guess for some reason your voice is cracking a little bit. Maybe my internet is a little bit slow. Anyway, I guess when it comes to men's hockey, see, India have to put on a much better performance than what they did against Pakistan, than what they did against England. I don't think they were really good against Pakistan. Yes, there were moments when India showed their class in terms of getting the goals in, but you expect India to get enough goals against a team like Pakistan. Having said that, their defensive structure was perhaps not as good as it should have been. Against England, too, India's defense cracked a bit, and somewhere maybe they went into shell as well against a team like England in the third quarter and fourth quarter. So India's, I guess, midfield has to be better. Yes, just throw the kitchen sink in that sense. When you're going to play against a good team like Netherlands, obviously very good team like Netherlands in your home turf, play high press game, and just hope for the best. I think they have nothing to lose because Netherlands, even in men's hockey, will be expected to beat India, especially in their home turf. So just India have nothing to lose. Just go out there and play without pressure. Just enjoy your game because Indian men's team, even though they have not played at their best on paper, it's still a good enough side. Although maybe some of the players are not at their peak, that's something that the Indian coach also would be worried. This bit of an aging side, I guess. So some of the players might not be exactly at their prime. Even someone like Harmanpreet, though he's got enough goals in via penalty corners in the game against Pakistan, he missed a couple of them, and he scored actually a couple of them, but he missed a few as well. So maybe some of the players are not at their absolute peaks. So that we have to consider. But it's still a good enough side if India put just put out their A game or come out with their A game, then they still have a chance. Though although Netherlands, I guess, will still start as favorites. If you want to break it down to percentage, it could be something like Netherlands 60%, or give India about 40% chance.
You are spot on, Bharat, and obviously it will be difficult because they will be facing Netherlands team, but also they will be facing the home crowd as well, and also there are a few concerning signs as well. In the performance against England, then against Pakistan. Against Pakistan, they were conceded 3 goals, so that shows that they really, there's something wrong with the defensive composure of this team. So can they bounce back stronger? That remains to be seen. But let's come back to a women's game against Netherlands. I mean, the best part of the game, when actually after the final whistle when uh, Indian women's hockey team actually left the field to a standing ovation by the home crowd as well. Uh, of course, it was dominated by Netherlands supporters only, but there were a few Indian supporters as well. Another interesting thing, Netherlands at their own backyard they were wearing blue jersey, but India, being a visiting team, they were wearing orange jersey. I mean, that's a very interesting thing that actually caught my eyeballs in the beginning of the game. But still, Bharat now moving into the Australia game. Do you think this result will impact them mentally, or do you think Indian women's team won't be bothered about this defeat? They will go all out, with all the resources they have against Australia. I mean, there will be any impact mentally?
See, they weren't expected to defeat Netherlands, so I don't think it will affect them that much in terms of the mental side of things. How many times have India beaten Netherlands in lifetime? Maybe a couple of times. One match I already talked about. I guess India have won one more match against Netherlands somewhere that I missed out. So they were not expected to win this game. Some of them even thought EB Jansen will get 3-4 goals, Matla will get 1-2 goals, and Netherlands might win by 5-1 or 5-0 margin. That could have also happened because Netherlands are that good. So India kept them down to 0-2. Yes, you can say that as a noted. India didn't have the position. India struggled for position. One second one, obviously, India's midfield. They have to look at India's midfield, especially when they're playing against stronger teams. That's not a poor performance because I guess it's not looking at it from the realistic perspective because it is Netherlands. Let me tell how good Netherlands are. They won the Olympics gold 5 times. They won the World Cup 9 times. As I noted, when Luciana Aymar was there, who is Luciana Aymar? She's known as the Diego Maradona of women's hockey. When she was there, even then Argentina struggled to beat Netherlands in finals. I think they did it once in the World Cup, but not in the Olympics. So how many times have India won against Netherlands? Only twice. One of them I already mentioned. So they kept it down to 2-0. It was not a bad performance. We have to be realistic because India are not at that level. They're simply not at that level. So they're defensively good. And yes, there are issues with regard to possession. But again, I mentioned we are thinking about a team that simply it seems like there is some AI machine in Netherlands where they keep producing these world class players. That's the kind of structure system they have in women's hockey. In men's hockey, at least you can say that you can defeat Netherlands. But in women's hockey, they have been so dominant over the last 20 years. Even if you look at teams like Germany, Australia, Argentina, even more better than Australia and Germany in the last 20 years, they have struggled against Netherlands. So I think it was realistically a good show from India. It could have been better, but Indian team is not at that level to go up against Netherlands and beat them. It's as simple as that. If I put my name on, so I won't call it as a poor performance. From India's perspective, considering India's current stature in women's hockey, this was a good performance.
Absolutely. I mean, they considered only two goals, and both came from penalty corners. But apart from that, they didn't allow actually Netherlands to score from open field play. And also fitness wise, also the team looked better. I mean, throughout the whole 60 minute, the way they stood firm against Netherlands. I mean, Netherlands, they are the world champions, and they were playing like world champions actually against India. I think India played their
Champions,
A game,
nine-time
but
world
again,
champions, nine-time world
absolutely,
champions.
absolutely. 19 world champion. They have won everything in the world. I mean, how they get motivation to play, next day? That's my big question, to be honest. I mean, they have won everything in the world, but still, every time they step onto the
Pro
pitch,
League they
they
have
play
won
like
five times at least. Pro League they won 5 times at
absolutely.
least. Won the Olympic gold 5 times. Maybe they won Euro nations as well enough times and all champions 9 times.
Okay, now we have got few comments as well. It was a poor hockey by Indian women's team. There was no attack from them, no
Margin.
penetration. You were spot on, Varun Malhotra, but again, we'll have to notice the team they are playing against. And again, I've already mentioned in the beginning of this show that this Indian women's hockey team, no one would have expected them to lose 2-0 against Netherlands in January of this year. But now, from that team to now, the team that they have reached, obviously, it's Sodmarin who made everything possible. They have changed the mentality of the team. He has changed the fitness of the team. Also, so many went on, scientifically as well behind the team. So you should, celebrate this result. 2-0 defeat, we all know, but also there are several positive as well from this game. How Indian women's team actually, I mean, every player of this team covered every millimeter of the ground against Netherlands. The way they kept marking their Netherlands players. So there are several positive as well from this game. And also you'll have to keep on mind another thing: the league structure of Netherlands hockey and the league structure of Indian hockey, Indian women's hockey. Every time remember, a league is backbone of any national team in the world. I mean, in every sports or every nation, if you see their success, then obviously behind that there would be a strong league structure, and that's what is in Netherlands. Netherlands, if you see, there is a one of the best league structure in the world. They have so many divisions, several division as well, so many clubs. Their clubs also invest a lot, in developing players from the grassroots. So that's how hockey is being developed in Netherlands. But comparing to that, in India, if you see, there is only one league, Hockey India League, and that is a closed single tier league. But in Netherlands, there is several tiers league, and in India, the league runs for how many weeks? Just 2 to 3 weeks or just a month. But in Netherlands, that league runs for several months. I mean, 9 to 10 months. Starts on August, runs till next year May. So that's the difference between Netherlands and India. So I think keeping all those things on mind, it's a result that we should be proud of, to be honest. Bharat, next comment for you: why hockey is more global sport and more competitive than cricket? Sharvesh Gaurav asking us.
It's not right to compare sports. See, there could be different reasons. It's not like cricket. It's not played by certain countries, but still, maybe it could be because cricket is a little more complicated to understand. One of them in terms of rules, it could be easy for an Indian to understand, but needn't be the case for others. Think about something like LBW rule with the DRS coming into play, impact, pitching, all these things come in the equation. So it's not as easy as a umpire's call. How do you explain an umpire's call? I tried to actually convince my nephew to play cricket a few years ago, and but it took him a little bit of time to understand all the rules. Obviously, he lives in Dubai. He was more into other sports at that time, and it took him quite a bit of time to understand the rules. And he's a very clever boy. So that could be one of the reasons. Other reason could be maybe it is because it's too time consuming when you think about Test cricket and ODI cricket. Now India ICC is trying to, what can I say, popularize T20 cricket. That's the only way I guess cricket can become more popular, especially in 2026 when you see such less attention spans among youngsters. How do you sell something like ODI cricket? Test cricket will remain because of its heritage, because of its history, but it's very difficult to sell ODI cricket. Someone who is 15-year-old or 18-year-old, why will you sit for 7 hours? So T20 cricket is the only way to go. Who knows, in the future it could be T20, T10 cricket to popularize cricket. To some extent, ICC did that in the 2026 World Cup when we saw a few other younger cricketing or the inexperienced cricketing nations coming through and almost beating some of the superior sides. But long way to go. ICC should have done it. ICC should have expanded the T20 World Cup to 20 teams, maybe 12 years ago or 14 years, at least 12 years, 10 years ago. And by now it should have been 32 teams, not 20. So that's another thing to look at. So the only way I think cricket can become popular is if they try to sell the T20 game, or who knows, in the future T10 as well. I don't think ODI cricket will sell. Test cricket will remain among few countries just because it has so much history, it is so much heritage. You simply can't stop playing Test cricket as far as cricket is concerned.
Absolutely. And coming back to tonight's game, we should acknowledge the performance of few players as well, especially both the goalkeepers, Bichu Devi and Sabita Punia. And they are excelling in every game at this World Cup. Every game, this World Cup, they have been brilliant, to be honest. Their reflexive, even today as well, both Sabita Punia and Bichu Devi. They did their job brilliantly, to be honest. And they denied so many shots from Netherlands attackers, and also Ishika as well. She defended really well actually throughout the whole game. One goal line clearance was also there in this game. Also, as I mentioned already, that there are several positive from tonight's game. India created, I think, 3 to 4 chances from open play as well. The closest was, I think, when Sunilita Topo, she made a solo run. The team, I mean, she could have done better because she entered the D, with that solo run. And also another closest opportunity was when Navneet caught. I mean, she also got another opportunity, but she actually missed the target. So there were a few, attack as well from Indian side, and also India got one penalty corner as well, but they actually missed that chances. But as I mentioned, several positive from the game, and it's almost 11:38 now. We'll end our show. If we get few comments, then obviously we'll take those comments. But if not, then we'll end our show. But before ending, my final question for Bharat: what are the positives for Indian team before going to that Australia game? And also, what are the lesson Indian women's team will take from this Netherlands side?
Yes, I noted a few of those points. They kept Ibi Jansen to just one goal. That itself is a positive because many other teams can't do that. I already noted she has something like 88 goals in just 91 matches, and in this tournament itself, she has 6 or 7. So they kept her down to one. That tells something about the goalkeeping. That tells something about the first rushers of the Indian women's team. I think these are the positives. Gritty defensive structure, but there are problems. As I noted, the position, India's position was not there. India had less position, but again, I understand they were playing against the best side in the world, so you can't expect too much position. So that is an area that India have to think about against stronger sides, the midfield, and yes, maybe they have to attack a little more via wings. Uh, that could be one, and maybe the something else. If I have to, I don't think there's much else to talk about. Their position was India just didn't have the position yet to challenge a team like Netherlands. So that's the lesson they have to carry forward against Australia. But Australia is definitely a weaker side against than when compared to the Netherlands. So expect them to have more position against them. And yes, they have to grab their opportunities whenever they get an opportunity. Even against a team like Australia, they have to grab them because it's not like they're going to play mediocre side. Australia is still a good enough side, so they have to just grab their opportunities.
Absolutely. Indian women's team have already stunned by qualifying into the championship round. But now, after this defeat against Netherlands, they will be looking to give their all, against Australia to, make it to the semis. So let's see. But we'll end our show. But the action will continue at the Hockey World Cup as our Indian men's team will be back in action tomorrow, and that also against Netherlands. So we'll be also back to do the pre and post match show. So don't forget to join us on Rep Sports. That's it for now. Thanks a lot, Bharat, and also to all of our viewers for joining us. See you in our next show.